Hey everyone, I'm actually with Steve again, and we've got another patient that we're going to work on today. So he's got this 60-inch TV. It's a Vizio E600 series, and there's no standby LED. And when you hit the power button, there's nothing. It's completely dead. So why not take a look at it? Let's do some diagnostics, see if we can figure out what's wrong, and maybe get it working again.
We'll start by gently laying the TV screen side down. Be sure to use a soft blanket to protect the screen. We're on short carpet, so we're all set. Next, we remove the base by unscrewing the 4 retainer screws.
Okay, so we'll lift this up a little bit. Okay, and now we can lay the screen down.
Now we remove the many screws securing the rear cover. Note that some are hiding around the connectors. Take your time and look around. Also, keep track of which screws go where, because we noticed there are at least 3 different screw sizes.
All right.
Start on the bottom here.
Okay. That lifts up there. Okay. That's lifting up over here. And that lifts it up. All right, good. All right. Let's take a look and see what we got. So unlike the old tube-style TVs, these have actually gotten simpler because a lot of it's all digital now. So instead of having all the tubes and drivers and magnetics, you're very simple. You've got power input going into a power supply board. That's feeding basically the equivalent of a computer motherboard. It's just a main processor board while your signals are coming in. We've got some speakers. And then we have a little driver board right there, which, based on that large ribbon cable, I'm going to guess is probably the driver for the actual screen.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep. So if we've got no power, there's a good chance it's probably going to be one of those 2 boards, either the power supply board or the main computer board. All right, we're going to start with the power supply board. Now, I want to do a couple words of warning here. These capacitors are listed as 450 volt, which tells me that this is a universal input power supply. It's going to bring in AC, and that's going to either be 120 or 240 volts, depending on where you are. And this is going to convert it to DC in the 400 volt range, and then convert it down to all the voltages it needs. And they do that at a much better efficiency than the old style things. But that means we could have 400 volts sitting on this board. Definitely don't want to mess with that. So we're going to be very careful about how we handle things. Another thing is we are dealing with electronics that could be sensitive to static electricity. So I ground myself on the chassis so that I don't have any charge built up, and I could zap something which could break it and make the problem even worse. All right, so let's do some diagnostic measurements here on this power supply. So we got power in, and let's walk down these connectors and see, with respect to ground, let's see what we've got. And actually, too, do you know what? Do we know if that's actually ground?
Yeah.
Do we measure that to verify that chassis and digital are the same?
We didn't, but we can.
Okay, so let's do that. There we go. Okay.
Must have just been getting that ground.
Yep. Okay, so we verified that the digital ground on the PC board, the labels, is the same as what's in the what's on the frame here. So we can leave that probe over there. So we're only handling 1 probe. Now, if you don't have that option, you can find a ground line. You may just have to hold 2 probes at the same time, get 1 on ground, and then 1 walk down the measurements. All right, so let's take a look at these here, and we'll write them all down.
So now, just for notation, this screw is marked as being a ground point.
Right.
So
it could be a chassis ground, though.
Right.
Yeah, they may have a chassis ground and digital ground separated. Okay. I have seen that on some systems where you can get a lot of electrical noise, and so they will keep them isolated. Okay. So we're going to start with the first pin. I'll start writing. All right. Okay, so based on what we measured, we've got 12 volt regulated. I don't expect that we would see anything on the 27, anything screen related, because TV's off.
Right. That power supply connector that's all LEDs.
Yeah.
We saw nothing there.
Right. And that I think would be expected.
Yeah.
What's striking me as odd, though, is the AC detect. We measured 0.31 volts.
Yeah. I'm sure what's supposed to be there, but this power supply is running at 12 volts. Mm-hmm. There's no 3.3 or 5 volt. So that's an odd voltage.
Yeah. And the thing, too, is power supplies tend to be the more likely parts that would go. These parts are under a lot of stress, electrical stress, running at 400 volts sometimes.
Of course, not to mention the bad cap issues that happened.
That's right. Ago. Early Vizio units did have bad capacitors.
They failed and caused the power supplies to go bad.
Right. I'd probably assume that the power supply board is going to be the culprit here.
That's my guess. I mean, the voltages that we're seeing could really lead us to say the main board's not sending the power on signal, because we're seeing a bad power on signal. So we could say it's not sending it. But it's funny voltages. And quite honestly, the power supply is pretty cheap for used prices on eBay.
Right.
Or even $89, $90 new.
Yeah.
I think that's a good first shot.
Yeah, I mean, because we are seeing 3.3 on the power supply PS on. We don't know if it's an active high or an active low.
Right.
But yeah, and to your point, it's probably going out and then coming back again. So there's a good chance that board, the control board, is probably okay. I'd say given the prices. I mean, you saw it was like what, $25 plus shipping.
They're all
off
over the
eBay?
board, but off eBay, I saw some quick prices, $25 for a used board that was tested. So I think that's a.
Yeah, and brand new, they were like less than $90.
In some places, some places over. But hey, it's a good first shot, because the main boards are more expensive.
Right, and a 60-inch TV, you're talking probably $1,000. So if for less than $100 we can save this TV, I think it's worth it.
They did. There are some companies online that did sell a 3-board pack for the power supply, main controller, and the T-Con board.
Okay.
Probably $150, $190 range. Unfortunately, the one place had a good price that was out of stock right now. So we'll go with one board at a time.
Yeah.
And, we'll find it. It'll still be a cheap fix.
Right, exactly. Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and order a replacement power supply board, and stay tuned. All right, we are back, and we received the new board. Needless to say, I am appalled that they shipped it in a clear plastic bag. This is not static dissipative, so that would be a ding on the review for them. But we do have the new board, and now let's swap it out. So we'll start by unplugging the connectors. Again, make sure that power's been disconnected, that you're grounded. Leave this a while disconnected as well. These caps can hold charge for quite some time, like on the order of possibly, several minutes to even an hour. So I would wait, and then you can safely handle it. Okay, get that out of the way, and we'll get the new one in. And we'll start by getting these screws in. You don't want to automatically start by using the power driver. You don't want to cross thread these. There's not a lot of meat to these threads.
And if you are using a power driver, as we're using, use the variable speed and dial it way back. Don't use a lot of power. This is
doesn't take much.
This is actually an impact driver. So if you squeeze the trigger all the way in, this thing will really mess up these screws and threads.
Yeah, I'm barely putting any force on it.
Yeah. These things don't need a lot of torque. They're just the ground screws. We'll make sure they're tightened with a hand screwdriver for good contact.
Yep.
But for mechanical, it's just hanging there in the TV.
Yep. So grab a hand screwdriver and just snugging them down, just making sure. Yeah, This isn't in a car where there's lots of vibration. It's going to sit on a TV stand. Okay. Get our connectors back on. All right.
Get some AC over there.
Yep.
And this is the smoke test. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
The power switch is down here.
Oh, that's a good sign.
Let's grab some voltages off this.
Yeah, let's grab some voltages.
After a successful smoke test and seeing the power indicator LED illuminate, we took a comparative set of measurements on the connectors. Powering up the TV by pressing the power button, we observed the backlight lighting up with the expected voltages appearing on the 27V LED pins of the connector. We suspect that the very small voltage we saw on the AC detect pin may help point to the root cause of the failure in that something in the power detection circuit may be bad, and thus fooling the power supply into thinking there's insufficient voltage to operate.
All right, so let's get the cover back on. And so we have to align this because I think it kind of pulled on the bottom. All right, so this probably kind of latches in.
And I'm just going to get it lined up with the power supply button, the on button.
Yep.
Coming through the case right here, just make sure it doesn't get pinched. And then other places, something's not. Hang on a second. Lift it up. I think we have something caught under there.
It was the tabs here.
No. Lift it up.
Yep. Okay. There we go. Yeah, there's like little locator tabs.
We left the guard
Oh.
for the meter lead in there, and that was holding it up on this side.
Oops. Is that the electronics equivalent of the doctor leaving the sponge in the patient?
I think so. Everything lines up, and
Okay.
we'll go around and make sure it snaps.
Yep.
In place.
So, looks like there's little locator tabs on this here.
Yeah.
You can see it's kind of lifting up there. Let's see.
I think there we go. All right, that's good.
There we go. That looks better.
Yeah.
These are all flush down there.
Looks good.
Okay, good. All right, let's start putting some screws in. Let's see, we did the small ones, right? You know, these little small flatheads.
Yeah.
Another thing is make sure you remember what screws came out of where. You saw that in my other videos, like the dryer repair video.
So
they sometimes use different length screws.
Let's see what we have in way of screws.
Yep.
Let's just pull them out. So these
are all the frame. These are all perimeter.
I think it looks like they're all the same length.
Yep.
And when we pulled them out, we have these tiny little screws that basically hold the case on around the main controller board.
Right. I remember this little plastite screw, I think, came out of here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, we've got four.
Those are the big guys for the holder.
Right. So we got 4 for the foot and 4 for the wall mount frame.
And the same thing, go low torque, because we don't want to strip anything out.
The last step is to reinstall the base and secure its screws.
All right, let's do it. That's a good sign. That is definitely a good sign. All right, good. I think that's the welcome screen for the Xfinity box, right?
That's it.
All right, good. So we've got signal. All right, success.
I know. That's a good feeling.
Yeah, and that was, what, it was about $40, right, with shipping?
Yeah, $45 with shipping.
So we recovered a 60-inch TV for relatively inexpensive and a few minutes of time. A little bit of diagnose. Now, worst case, now if that power supply didn't fix it, we could have ordered the controller board, or possibly even have gotten the 3-board set had they been in stock.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a relatively simple thing. Somebody with some basic electronics knowledge or being able to do some handyman type stuff could potentially do this. Obviously, use common sense. If it's beyond your comfort level, beyond your capability, don't take a chance. You know, I offer these videos up as a guide just to show you how things can get done. But you know, otherwise, you know, if it's something that you look at it and you say, hey, I can do that. Well, now you've seen how it can be done and make it easier. So thanks for watching. And Steve, thanks for another opportunity to do some repair work here. And yeah, I guess we'll go from there. And till the next video, see you later.